Video gonna be comparing the Mortal Kombat movies to War Room as well as Forge, which are both from the Kendricks. These are both Christian movies. Forge is a spin-off to War Room, has some of the same characters in there. I haven't actually seen any of the Mortal Kombat movies, but of course I've seen sci-fi fantasy movies before, so I've seen movies that are in the same big umbrella as Mortal Kombat, but nothing that's identical to it. When you look at highest score for each franchise with Mortal Kombat, the movie Scorpion's Revenge has a 90%. When you look at War Room and Forge, Forge has a higher score than War Room, but still not fantastic. 67%, so fresh, but only by a little bit. Then when you look at lowest score, War Room only has a 32%. Mortal Kombat Battle of the Realms has a 50%. Then when you look at average score, Mortal Kombat has an average of 68. War Room only has an average of 49. Then when you look at gap between lowest and highest score, with War Room you got a gap of 35. With Mortal Kombat you got a gap of 40. War Room wins here, so Mortal Kombat has won three of the rounds so far. War Room has won one of them, so Mortal Kombat's gonna win no matter what. When it comes to my personal opinion, what this really comes down to for me is the question: what am I gonna go with? A franchise that I'm not very familiar with, but I like this genre, versus two movies that I've seen, but part of a genre they don't overall enjoy quite as much as sci-fi fantasy. I actually got to see The Forge in theaters just recently. I quite enjoyed it. I think it's one of the best Kendrick's movies. I think as a plot that's more interesting to me. I was more engaged with this story about this guy who's 19 years old. He's living with his mom. At first, he's not paying any rent, he's not helping out, he's just sitting around playing video games. His mom's not very happy with this. She's like, hey, you need to go out and get a job. You need to contribute. You need to not just sit around and expect me to do everything for you. You go out there, get a job, or else you find someone else to live with. And so he's going out there trying to find a job. He meets this guy who's the CEO of a company, and we see, oh, he's actually a really nice guy. Like, he is the model example of what a CEO of a company should be like, because we see that he knows how to balance keeping the company profitable, but without becoming greedy, without caring only about money. He also cares about the people who work for him. He's a Christian. He helps out our main character. He's kind to him right from the start. It's really heartwarming to see. And you have this powerful moment too where he learned that the first guy he helped out, who he mentored, was a guy who got drunk, and as a result of that actually ended up being responsible for the death of this guy's son. But despite that, as CEO of a company, still helped this guy out. Despite that, very powerful. I don't remember this character's name off the top of my head, but I definitely had a good time with this movie. I thought it looked good. I liked the acting. War Room, movie that I enjoy, though not as much as other Kendrick's movies. Not as interesting. I mean, because Facing the Giants, for example, is about football, Courageous, it's about police officers. Inherently, I find those things to be a bit more interesting. War Room is definitely very much a movie geared not just toward church people. Yeah, obviously it's geared to them, but more specifically, I would say it's targeted at Bible study people. Like, that's the people that this movie's appealing to. That's the target audience right there. People who are in Bible study. They're going to love War Room. Other people certainly aren't going to enjoy it quite as much. Kendrick's Brothers movies in general tend to not have very high Rotten Tomatoes scores. Some people really enjoy Christian movies, other people don't as much. I think that Forge is the movie I'm going to remember more than War Room, to be honest. But when it comes to which franchise I actually prefer, I would say that I'd say that I prefer War Room and Forge. I'll wrap things up for this video.